As a reminder, add is plus, subtract is minus, multiply, some things that show multiplication are a dot, parentheses, or if you have a number next to a variable, or if you have two variables next to each other, it means multiply. Divide, or you can have 12 divided by 3, and then you've got equals. One last thing, remember when you have the word than, that means to switch. You switch the order. So anytime you see than, you're going to switch, and then the other word is from. When you see from, you need to switch. Other than that, they stay in the order given. So on number 1, it says, wise man once said, 300 reduced by, so reduced by twice my age is 114, okay? So you've got 300, reduced is minus, since it's by, I keep it in that order. Twice my age, twice, anytime you see twice, it's a big 2, so 2a. So 2 and times, but you usually just put the variable right next to it. 2 times a is equal, and you got 114. Now, I'm going to set it up to solve it. So I'm going to look in front of the 2a, that is a negative 2a. Look in front of the 300. If there's not anything there, it's like a plus. So plus 300 equals 114. Now, the opposite of adding 300 is to subtract 300. So when your calculator, make sure you start from the top, 114 minus 300, and then hit enter. It's a negative 186. And then you would divide by negative 2. If you have a negative out in front, make sure you divide by negative. So negative 186 divided by negative 2, a would be 93. Okay, so the age is 93. On number 2, some key words. 7 less than 9 times a number, and then you have is negative 7. Okay, so we have 7 less than 9 times a number. This goes together. Before the is, you know that you've got to stop. Less than, you've got to switch. Okay, and less means minus. So I'm going to bring down my minus. The 7 goes behind. 9 times a number, I'm going to use n. 9n goes in front. Is an equal sign, and then you've got negative 7. Okay, so now we're going to solve it. Draw your line. The opposite of subtracting 7 is to add 7. So 9n equals 0, and you have to divide by 9. Now make sure you enter from the top down. So you have to enter the 0 first. So make sure you do 0 divided by 9, and you get 0. So the answer is 0. So n equals 0. I'll put that right there in the blank. Number 3, some key words. More than. Fourth of a number, and then you've got is 6. So let's go back and look. More than, anytime you see then, you've got to switch. So 2, more is plus. So plus 2. Anytime you see the hyphen, that means you're going to have a fraction. So 1/4, I put 1 over 4. Okay, 1/4. Of is times, and you have a number. So I'm going to say, use the n. So 1/4 n plus 2 is equal, so equals 6. Now 1/4 n, so another way to write that, just put your n in the top. So n over 4 plus 2 equals 6. Alright, so let's solve that. I'm going to write that at the very top right here so we can solve it. Opposite of adding 2 is to subtract 2, so n over 4 equals 4. Since this is division, okay, remember that is divide. The opposite of divide is to multiply. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 4. So n equals 16. On number 4, you have negative 80 is 1 more than the product of negative 9 and a number. Now, when you see, let's just go back and take that, but when you see the of, go ahead and look for the and. And so this product, where you see the word and, that's where whatever operation product is, that's where that goes. And product means multiply, so this is times, okay? So you've got negative 80 is an equal sign. One more than, since it says than, I have to switch. So more is plus, I'm gonna put plus 1. Now this says the product of what, negative 9 and a number. So I'm gonna use negative 9 times n. So negative 9n goes in front. What is the number? So I'm gonna solve it. The opposite of adding 1, and if you want to, you can rewrite this. Negative 9n plus 1 equals negative 80. That's not a problem. You can rewrite it, same thing. Opposite adding 1 is to subtract 1. So negative 9n equals negative 81. The opposite of multiplying by negative 9 is to divide by negative 9. So n equals positive 9, which is your answer. On number 5, so some key words you've got here. 6 less than 1/3 of a number is 15. Okay, so you've got less than, means you got to switch. Less is minus, so you've got minus 6. Okay, then you've got this 1/3. Now, anytime you see a hyphen, that is going to be a fraction. So 1/3. 1/3 times n. All that goes together. So 1/3 n minus 6 is your equal sign, and then you've got 15. Okay. Now, I've got that fraction at the front. Remember, you can just put the n on the top. So n/3 minus 6 equals 15. So the opposite of subtracting 6 is to add 6. So n/3 equals 21. The opposite of dividing is to multiply. So n equals 63. So you're going to multiply those. Okay? 63. Number 6. 400 is 1 more than, and then you've got this word triple a number. What is the number? Okay? So 400 is always equals. This is 1 more than more, and I have to switch. So plus 1. And then triple a number. Triple is a big 3. So 3n. Okay? Now we can solve it. So I'm going to rewrite that. 3n plus 1 equals 400. So draw your line. The opposite of adding 1 is to subtract 1. 3n equals 399. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is to divide by 3. So n equals 133. Let me make that 133. That looked like a negative, but it wasn't. All right, number 7. Deshawn's bikes rent for $11 plus 5 per hour, and she paid $51 to rent the bikes. Okay, so let's go back and look at this. Deshawn's bikes rent for $11 plus. So you automatically have to give them $11 plus. And then this says 5 per hour. Per is times. So it's 5 per hour, so 5h. And then she paid 55. That means that's the total. So since that's the total, it's going to equal 51. So now you can solve that. And I'm going to rewrite that. 5h plus 11 equals 51. If you need to rewrite that, you can. If you're good with solving it from the original, that is fine. Opposite of adding 11 is to subtract 11. So 5h equals 40. And then the opposite of multiplying by 5 is to divide by 5. So h equals 8. So how many hours did she rent the bike? So Deshawn rented the bike for 8 hours. You bought a magazine for $7 and some erasers for $4 each. So you bought a magazine for $7 and some erasers for $4 each. You spent a total of $39. Okay. So you bought a magazine. That means you bought one of those. That means you spent $7 and is your plus. Some erasers for $4 each. So this is going to be 4 times. Now what's it about? Is for each what eraser. I'm going to use R. So 4 times R. A total means it's going to equal 39. Okay? So set up and solve it. Opposite, now look in front. If there's not anything in front, it's like a plus 7. So the opposite adding 7 is subtract 7. So 4r equals 32. The opposite of multiplying by 4 is to divide by 4. So r equals 8. So how many erasers did you buy, or did she buy, or you? So you'd say, it said I didn't give a person, so I bought 8 erasers. Number 9, 285 students went on a field trip. 5 buses were filled and 15 students traveled in cars. How many students were in each bus? So you had 285 students went on a field trip. That's the total. 5 buses, you had 5 buses were filled, and there were 15 that went in cars. How many students were in each bus? Now this is important, each bus. So that goes back with this one. So the each is the times, okay? So you're gonna do 5 times B. And is your plus 15. So 15 went in the cars. It didn't say each car, it just said they went in cars. That's why we don't do times there. This, it said each bus, so that's why it's the times. Now, the 285 is the total, so equals, so 285 equals 5b plus 15. So now we are going to solve. The opposite of adding 15 is to subtract 15. So 270 equals 5b. The opposite of multiplying by 5 is to divide by 5. So 270 divided by 5 is 54. So that means each bus has 54 students. 54 students ride on one bus. Okay, so each one has 54. Now on the next part you have ordered pairs. So we are going to take the information, -3. -3 is in the x spot. Because any ordered pair is always x, y. Always, 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 always. So -3 is in the x spot. So that means wherever we see x, we're going to plug in -3. So -4, parentheses, -3. And then I'm going to bring everything else down. Plus 2y equals 4. Well, I'm going to put this in the calculator. -4, parentheses, -3. -4, parentheses, -3. And you get 12. So 12 plus 2y equals 4. Now you're going to solve it just like normal. Opposite of adding 12 is to subtract 12. So 2y equals -8. And then you divide by 2. So y equals -4. So that is the value of y. On the second one, you've got 7. It is in the first spot. So that means I have to replace it for x. So 2 parentheses 7. And then you bring everything else down. Plus 3y equals 44. Well, I'm going to do this part first. 2 parentheses 7. That is 14. So 14 plus 3y equals 44. The opposite of adding 14, look in the front, opposite adding 14 is to subtract 14. So 3y equals 30. And then the opposite of multiplying by 3 is to divide by 3. So y equals 10. On number 12, -4 is in the second spot. Well, the second spot is a y. So this time it goes in the y spot. So I'm going to bring down 5x minus 4 parentheses, but instead of y, I'm going to put -4. And then I'm going to bring down the equals 21. So I'm going to do -4 times -4. Make sure you capture the sign. -4 parentheses -4. You get positive 16. So when I bring it down, 5x, I'm going to say plus 16 since it was positive. And then you solve it. Opposite of adding 16 is to subtract 16. So 5x equals 5. And the opposite of multiplying by 5 is to divide by 5. So x equals 1. And the last one, number 13. So 6 is in the second spot. And the second spot is the y spot. So wherever you see y, then you're going to plug in 6. So 2x minus 3 parentheses, and then you're going to use that 6, close parentheses, equals negative 4. Okay, and then I'm gonna do negative 3 parentheses 6. So negative 3 parentheses 6, enter, and you get negative 18. So 2x minus 18 equals negative 4. Opposite of subtracting 18 is adding, so 2x equals 14 divided by 2, and x equals 7.